Welcome to HP FanFiction. Support me by subscribing the channel. Also, like and share the video to keep me motivated to make more videos like these. Astoria, you are awake. Daphne had an unusually wide grin on her face. Astoria tried to speak more, but her eyes started to close again. It's okay, my love, Celine told her. You must be very tired. Rest now. Astoria moved her head a bit as if trying to nod, and then her eyes closed again. She is going to be okay now. Sebastian looked at Harry. Is the curse gone? If the curse wasn't gone, she would be dead already. Harry decided not to say that. Yes, the curse is gone, but her body and magic will need time to recover. I'm sure you have many potions to help speed up her recovery. Harry stood back up with difficulty. Dobby, my shirt. The elf hurried up to bring him his clothes. Harry glanced at his left arm. The pain was almost gone. The brand was very faint now that the gate had been closed and that entity was far away. But it was still visible. It's never going to disappear completely now. He knew this for sure. Harry had hoped that after waking up in a different timeline with a different body, he would not have to worry about this brand again, but he was wrong. It must be attached to my soul. In that case, it will follow me always. He had already considered this possibility, but now he had the confirmation. No use complaining now, he told himself in a whisper while putting his shirt back on. Mr. Potter. Sebastian approached him. I believe you can call me Harry at this point. We can drop the formalities a bit after this, he told the Lord. Sebastian nodded in agreement. Harry, you saved my daughter. My family owes you a great debt. Harry noted how Lord Greengrass had worded that. The debt was to him and not to his family. He was leaving the Potters out of this matter because Harry had told him to keep silent about what happened on this day. I'm sure there will come a time when you can repay that debt. For now, I'll just ask you to remain silent about everything you saw here today. That includes the rest of my family, Harry told the Lord. He had no plans of demanding anything outrageous from this family, and he would not have minded brushing off this debt, but to a pure-blood lord like this one, that would have been a great insult, like telling him that his daughter's life was worthless to him. I understand, Sebastian said, and then Harry saw the man smile for the first time. Thank you. Harry put his robes back on and looked back at Sebastian, who was still standing in the same place. Is there something you want to say? The Lord looked troubled. You don't have to answer me, but about that brand on your arm, I couldn't help but see it. You are familiar with these types of brands, Harry stated matter-of-factly, already knowing what brand had this man seen before. My brother was foolish enough to join him. The Dark Lord, Sebastian lamented. Dear, Celine spoke softly. She knew how little he liked to talk about his younger brother. He paid for that with his life already, but I saw that brand on his arm a few times. I remember well the feeling it gave off. And it reminded you of this one. Harry pointed at his left arm. Harry saw the Lord nod. If you're worrying about me being involved with Voldemort. Of course not. Sebastian interrupted him. That was not my intention. Harry shrugged. That's fine, you are not wrong. The brands have many similarities. Sebastian was surprised that Harry admitted this much. Of course, mine has nothing to do with Voldemort. It was given to me by someone else. Someone much more dangerous. More dangerous than... Sebastian looked at the empty space that the demonic gate had occupied a moment ago. He recalled the gate doing something strange when Harry was clutching at his arm. Then there was that voice. Who was that? What did it want? Sebastian thought. Harry saw his expression change, and knew what he was thinking. It's best if you forget about that. Many have gone insane just for thinking too much about it. Harry looked at the bed where Astoria, Daphne and Celine were. You have your family back together. Enjoy the moment. Who knows how long it will last this time, he thought to himself. Harry walked to where the elf was standing. He turned around and waved his wand. The stone platform lifted in the air for a moment before returning to its original shape and size, and placing itself back on the wall. The knife returned to the box, as well as all the shards of glass left behind by the potion Dobby broke. We are done here, Harry declared once the room was clean again. Wow, Celine stared at the display of magic. He can clean too. Daphne looked shocked. No one would be able to tell what happened here today by just looking at it. Come on, Dobby, we are leaving, Harry told the elf, and this one picked up the metal box. Yes, master. Wait, Harry, Daphne called for him as he opened the door to leave. Huh? Harry turned around and for a moment was reminded of his little sister Holly, as Daphne threw herself at him in the same way, except she was much bigger. Thank you so much, Daphne exclaimed. Harry's body was extremely exhausted by the ritual and by having his brand reactivated, so when a girl his own age jumped at him in such a way, Daphne, heavy, he managed to say before collapsing on the ground under her. We are all ready, Lyra announced loudly as she got in front of him. Harry lifted his eyes from the book and glanced at his sister. She had barged into the library accompanied by Ginny, Luna, and for some reason Daphne. Good for you, have fun. Harry returned to his book, not really sure why she felt the need to inform him of that. What do you mean by have fun? Did you forget your promise already? Lyra huffed angrily with her fists at her hips. Ha! Harry gave the girls another glance and remembered the conversation he had with his sister about teaching them a few spells this summer. Right, he put the book down. So you remember now? Well, good, we are ready, teach us, Lyra exclaimed. He was still recovering from the day's experience, not from summoning the demon that didn't take much of a toll on him, and after drinking a blood-replenishing potion he would have been back in top shape. What caused him to be in this state was the awakening of his brand. He still felt tired even after resting for several days. His limbs ached as if he had run 3 marathons in a row, and his arms still felt very sore. But I did make a promise. I suppose it will be good for those girls to learn to defend themselves. That would give me some peace of mind at Hogwarts at least. Let's go to the gardens then. Harry stood up from the couch. Are we not going to that room you used last year? Lyra asked, and Ginny elbowed her side. That was a secret, remember? Ginny whispered to her. No, there is no need for that. And it would be a bit cramped, Harry told her. The group walked out of the library and Harry noticed that Daphne stayed a bit behind the rest. He assumed she wanted to tell him something, so he did the same and got closer to her. How is Astoria doing? He asked in a soft voice. Daphne smiled. Much better. Father hired a team of healers to stay at her side. They said that she should be in perfect shape very soon. That's great news. Was there something you wanted to tell me? He asked. Yes, actually, I was planning on sending you a letter, but this is faster. My father told me the full list of materials you requested will be ready in 2 weeks. But we already have most of them, so if you are in a hurry, no need. I can wait 2 weeks. Send the amount to pay and I'll have my elf collect it. I'm not sure if my father will not accept the payment. After what you did for us, Daphne whispered. He will. What I did for your family was a personal favor. This is a business transaction. Let's not mix them. He cared little for coins. Even after paying for this purchase, he would still have a mountain of gold thanks to Lord Malfoy's generosity. Having Lord Greengrass owing him one was more valuable than that. I will tell him what you said. Daphne looked satisfied with his answer. I didn't expect you to be here though. He recalled his sister telling him about Luna but never mentioning anything at Daphne. Lyra told me to come, Daphne said with a tinge of coldness in her voice. Harry noticed this. Is she mad because I didn't invite her myself? I honestly didn't even remember about this. I had more important things on my mind. I didn't think you would be interested. I'm only going to teach them some basic stuff. I have learned some things at home, but you Wow. Luna interrupted Daphne and got closer to her, her eyes scanning the air surrounding Daphne's head. What is it? Daphne took a step back, attempting to create some distance between her and the strange blonde. You have a lot of rackspurts flying over your head. Luna sounded very shocked. I have what? Daphne looked very confused now. Rackspurts is the name of one of the creatures that only Luna can see. Ginny explained. She sometimes says things like that. Don't let it bother you. Lyra added. That's not true. My daddy saw a Nargle last summer. Luna informed her that she was not the only one who could see them. So, only your family can see these creatures. Daphne looked a bit suspicious. That sound crazy? Luna asked her directly. I have been called that a lot. She seemed unfazed. I wasn't going to say something that impolite. Daphne told her. She is not exactly making things up. Luna has a peculiar gift. Harry spoke. She does? Asked Lyra with shock. I do? Asked Luna, equally shocked. She can perceive things that cannot be glimpsed with naked eyes. Harry said. You mean like magic? Daphne asked. Harry gave her a nod. Something like that. The truth is that even he didn't understand exactly what Luna's ability was, but he knew she wasn't just making things up. His best guess after knowing her for so many years was that Luna was somehow able to see souls and spirits, and her brain interpreted it in that peculiar way. Oh, so your family must have some bloodline ability. That's incredible. Daphne was truly impressed. That type of magical ability was incredibly rare, even among old magical families. So I'm not crazy? Luna asked. You are a bit crazy, but someone else with your gift would have gone insane already. Harry told her. Okay then. Luna shrugged and continued to walk, not seeming to care that much about what Harry told her. Wait, Daphne went after her. You said before that I had a lot of, she forgot the name already. Raxperts. Luna glanced up. You have a few more now. What does it mean then? Is it bad? Daphne asked. Now that she knew Luna's ability was the real deal, she was getting worried. Huh? Luna stared at Daphne with a blank expression. How should I know? I have never seen this many before. She turned around and continued to walk. Daphne was left standing there, completely baffled. But why would you mention it then? Lyra tapped her on the shoulder. Don't think too much about it, Daphne. Ginny approached her. Yes, it is best to forget about it. Last year she said I had some gulping plimpies running around me. I still don't know what she meant. I don't think Luna knew what she meant. Lyra added. All right, give me your wands. I will remove the trace. Harry told them once they arrived at the garden. Mine was already removed last year, Daphne said. Daddy also removed mine, Luna added. Hold on. What? How did that happen? Lyra questioned the girls. She believed only her brother would do that kind of stuff. Some seniors removed the trace on my first year, Daphne explained. They do this for all new Slytherin students. Why? Lyra asked. Everyone knows the whole thing with the trace is the ministry's way of controlling Muggle-borns. It should not apply to students who live in magical houses, Daphne answered. My brothers said the same, Ginny commented. But Mom and Dad refused to remove mine. They are very strict when it comes to obeying the law. What about you, Luna? Lyra asked. I have to do a lot of cleaning around the house, so Daddy removed the trace of my wand so I didn't have to borrow his anymore, Luna told her. Lyra glanced at Harry with a frown. You could have removed mine last year. To do what exactly? Harry sighed. Just give me your wand. I'll remove it now. Once everything was ready, Harry walked to the middle of the garden. There was a big and almost empty space there, with only a giant apple tree. Harry tapped one of the branches, and it started to grow in length. The branch slithered over the grassy ground like a snake, and formed more branches as it passed. From these branches, humanoid figures started to form. What are those for? Asked Lyra. These are going to serve as your targets, Harry said, as the figures finished transforming into very simple wooden golems. Their feet were still attached to the main tree branch, making it easier for Harry to repair them. Wow! I could barely transform that toothpick. Ginny looked impressed. What defensive spells have you learned already? We can go from there, Harry asked them. Luna shrugged. Lyra scratched her head. Ginny glanced at her friends with a troubled expression. Nothing? Harry was not expecting much considering their only defense teacher had been Lockhart. But this, he did not even teach you one spell. Oh, he did teach us one. Ginny got excited. Ginny, don't. Lyra became embarrassed. Yeah, you know, the charm to make our teeth shiny when we smile, Ginny explained. That's not a defense spell, Ginny, Harry pointed out. Ah, no, but it was the only spell we learned from him, I think, Ginny said while looking down. That's it? Harry asked. To be fair, he didn't teach us a single spell to us second years, unless you want to count the one he assured us would serve to chase out a werewolf. But it sounded so ridiculous, Daphne frowned. Mum was very angry when I told her about him, and she went straight to talk with the headmaster, Lyra commented. What did she say to the headmaster? Ginny asked. I don't know, she never told me. but she looked a lot happier when she came back, Lyra said. Fine, Harry started. Let's just start from the beginning. He walked some distance away from the dummies and stood next to the girls. I'll show you how to use the disarming charm. Harry made a circular motion with his wand, followed by a stabbing one. His movements were slow but fluid. Expelliarmus. From the tip of his wand a flash of light came out and clashed against the hand of the target dummy, destroying it completely. Ah, so that's what you meant by disarm. Luna nodded like she understood something. Okay, you girls try it now, Harry told them. Lyra, Ginny, and Luna started trying to replicate what he did. Expelliarmus. Lyra made a correct motion, but her aim was a bit off, and missed the dummy's hand. Luna hit the dummy on its shoulder and removed the entire arm. Luna, aim for the hand, that's where the wand usually is, Harry told her. But I'm trying to disarm him, she complained. Never mind, he turned his attention to Ginny. Her movements were good, but she was also missing the target. It doesn't go where I want it to go, Ginny pouted. He found her reaction very amusing. Haven't seen her do that in a very long time. Let me see it again, he instructed her. Ginny performed another disarming charm, but her aim was off once more.
I see.
He got closer. You are ending the spell too soon. The end of the motion also serves as your aiming tool. You have to get the timing right. He got behind the girl and grabbed her wand hand. How? Ginny's face became as red as her hair. Let me show you. His hand made contact with her wand and formed a gentle connection. Harry then moved Ginny's arm and formed the charm. Expelliarmus. Ginny felt his magic course through her hand, and then the wand. It shone brightly until a spark of light came out and hit the training dummy on its hand. There, that is the correct timing. You just need to practice it. Ginny, are you listening? He noticed that the girl was staring at the ground and not paying attention. Why, yes, she hurried to say. Okay then, he let her go and took a step back. You can also practice with a stick, so you don't exhaust yourself. Silencio. The head of the training dummy went flying. Harry glanced back and saw Daphne clenching her wand. Daphne, I think you poured a bit too much magic into that one, Harry told her. It seems like you kids could use a break, Lily said as she entered the garden, carrying a tray of sweets. Their house elf Mipsy followed behind her with some tea. They placed the trays on the biggest stone table near the entrance. Thanks, Mum. Lyra hurried over and sat down. I'm so hungry. That's good, but don't fill yourself with sweets. Lily observed as the rest of them arrived and sat down. Oh, you made my favorite. Thank you, Mipsy, said Harry. You are most welcome, Master, the elf replied. How is the practice going? Lily asked. It's going great, right, Ginny? Lyra exclaimed. Ginny, are you okay? Lily noticed the girl wasn't answering and grew worried. Huh? I mean, yes, it's great. Ginny glanced at Harry for a second before looking down again. Lily raised an eyebrow. Is that so? Wow, Ginny has a lot of rackspurts around her head now, Luna said while staring at the red-headed girl. Leave my rackspurts alone, Luna, Ginny exclaimed. But they are distracting me, Luna complained. What? Lily wasn't sure she wanted to know, but she asked anyway. It's one of Luna's creatures that only she can see, Lyra explained. Aha, Lily didn't know what to say to that. She was not familiar with the Lovegood family. She only knew they lived close to the Weasleys and that Lord Lovegood was a bit eccentric. She decided to avoid the topic and looked at Daphne. The blonde girl was sipping her tea with the manners expected from a pure-blood princess. But Lily noticed she had not touched any of the sweets. Are you not hungry, Daphne? If there's anything specific you like, Mipsy can prepare it for you. It's not that, Lady Potter. I'm on a bit of a diet. Daphne looked a bit embarrassed to admit it. Diet? But you are already so thin. Lily noticed the girl stealing glances at her son. I see. She looked at Harry with suspicion. Harry noticed this and returned the stare. What? He asked. Aren't you a popular one? Lily teased. Harry had been focusing on his dessert and had no idea what his mother was talking about, so he turned to his left and asked Luna. What did I miss? A lot of rackspurts, I think, Luna answered while digging into her cake. Why did I ask her of all people? He wondered. And what has Harry been teaching you? Lily asked them. The disarming charm, Lyra answered. Expel illness? That's a very useful one. Lily looked at Harry. Good choice, son. At least now we know one defensive spell, Lyra huffed. Yes, your first-year teacher was truly disappointing, Lily said. But worry not, I made sure to solve that problem already. You mean the day you went to talk with the headmaster? Lyra asked. How did you solve it? What did you tell him? Asked Harry. I just mentioned that I didn't like his way of choosing professors. Harry had the feeling that his mother did more than just mention it. And, what then? Lyra pushed her mother to continue. I can't say more, but the problem is solved. You can trust your mother, Lily assured them. Why can't you say more? Lyra asked. Are we getting a good professor next year? Ginny asked. It's a surprise. That's all I will say. Lily ended the conversation there. Fine, Lyra huffed. We should get back to our practice now. I think I am close to mastering the disarming charm. You still can't hit the target though, Luna reminded her. Neither can Ginny, Lyra exclaimed. But Harry helped her with that, right? Luna glanced at Ginny with her innocent eyes. Ginny covered her face. You have to help me with my aim first. Daphne grabbed Harry's hand and started to drag him away. Your aim? Harry asked her. You were doing quite well before. You just need to put less power on your spell. No, it was definitely off, Daphne insisted. Lyra was surprised to see her act in such a way. What's with Daphne today? She never behaves like that. Lily chuckled. Oh, your brother is very popular. So, do you remember everything I said? James asked his son. Of course, Dad. We'll only be there for a few days, Harry told him. Why are you giving him the instructions? I am the adult here, Lily huffed. Well, I suppose you are right, James said. Not wanting to upset his wife, he handed her the portkey in the form of a large coin. This was a special type of portkey, an international one that allowed them to go through magical Britain barriers and enter a different country. Harry had initially planned on making his trip to Spain by himself, but then discovered that minors were not allowed to travel alone, except for very specific circumstances. So in the end it was decided that Lily would accompany him, since James was currently busy, working on a case involving some missing persons that he couldn't talk about. I always wanted to visit another country. Lily looked excited about the trip, even if they weren't exactly Evdikers. Your father never takes me anywhere. Oi, James complained. Haha, I'm joking, James. Lily knew well that the reason for not going out too much was because of the danger of encountering some Death Eaters. Despite what the ministry usually says in the newspapers, Britain has become a very dangerous place after Voldemort's first appearance. And even after going missing, there has been a lot of activity from Death Eaters and other dark wizards. Now, I want you to be very careful. I haven't heard about any Death Eater movements over there, but France had 2 raids last year, said James. We will not be going into France, said Harry. I know, but the Spanish magical community you are visiting is a very old one, which means there is probably a lot of shady stuff going on there. James warned them. I want to see them try anything, Lily huffed. Our son has taught me some very interesting spells recently. James sighed. I don't want to know. Harry and Lily walked through the streets of Barcelona wearing casual Muggle clothing to avoid attracting attention to themselves. This is so exciting. It's been so long since I visited a foreign place like this, Lily said, appearing to be in a very good mood as she looked around the streets. I'm glad you're having fun, Mum, but pay attention too. We are about to enter the oldest part of the city. We are bound to cross paths with other wizards and witches. Harry said, his words not loud but audible, despite the noise around them. Lily assumed he had used some charm on his voice. Hey, wait a moment, I'm supposed to be the adult here, she complained. Harry ignored her mutterings and focused on finding the entrance since he was not very familiar with this place. Are you sure it's around here? Lily scanned the area. The two of them had left behind the busy city streets and ventured into the oldest area, called the Casco Antiguo. The city was extremely old, even though it wasn't formally recognized as a city until the 13th century. Parts of it had been around since much earlier, and this was the oldest part. They were walking on cobblestones and surrounded by old gloomy stone buildings. The upper parts of the buildings extended forward, so most of the natural light became blocked. There, to the left, Harry said. They took a turn and found themselves in an alley with no exit. Lily was unable to see or hear anything here. This is it, Harry said, tapping his wand against some of the small stones decorating the walls. They then heard a crack, and the end wall of the alley parted ways, revealing a dark corridor. Lily was a bit dubious but still followed Harry through this dark place. "Whoa!" she exclaimed. After just walking for a few seconds, the narrow corridor disappeared, and she saw the alley in all its glory, with shops, the street's enchanted lights and all the wizards and witches walking around. "Welcome to the Callejón de Pomora, or Pomora Alley if you prefer," said Harry. For a moment Lily felt like a kid again, visiting Diagon Alley for the first time. Most of the shops were made of stone, giving it a much more rustic feeling than its English counterpart, but it was beautiful in its own way. "It looks more ancient than Diagon Alley," Lily commented. "That's because it is. Diagon Alley was built around the 16th century, and this hidden space has been around since the 6th century, more or less." "That old?" Lily was surprised to hear this. Even Hogwarts Castle had not been around this long. Of course, back then this was not a commercial alley. It was just a house. A hidden place for a witch called Pomora. Her family inherited the place after she died, and during the Spanish Inquisition in the 12th century they started to rescue wizards and witches who were being persecuted by muggles. The refugees decided to stay here and expanded the place to create this magical community. "You seem to know a lot about this alley," Lily noted. She had read about other magical communities, but it was hard to find much information in books. These communities tended to be secretive when it came to foreigners. "I've only been here a couple of times in, my past, but the two old men we are going to visit, well, let's just say that they love to talk. I only remember a fraction of everything they told me," Harry explained. Lily smiled. "There are a lot of interesting shops around here. We should look around and bring back some things for the girls. There will be time for shopping later. The item I need takes time to create, so we should order it first." "You still haven't told us what this item you need is," Lily pointed out. Her son had this terrible habit of feeding them information bit by bit. She wondered where he learned that from. "You'll see very soon," he answered. "Ugh," Lily groaned. They continued walking for a bit longer until Harry stopped before a corner. To their left was a narrow corridor with almost no light. It reminded her very much of Nocturne Alley. Harry, don't tell me tea. "Señorita, no se meta ahí." "Lady, don't go in there." An old lady approached them. "Ese lugar es peligroso, es mejor no ir ahí. Mucho menos con un niño. That place is very dangerous. It's better not to go there, much less with a child." She glanced at Harry. "Huh? Hold on." Lily couldn't understand a word that woman was saying. "Right, there was a translation charm. How was it?" she muttered. "Son Ingle says, are you British?" the lady asked. "Sí," Harry answered. "Oh, el pequeño me entiende." "Oh, the little one understands me," the lady smiled at Harry. "Solo vamos a visitar los hermanos Velázquez. Tenemos un negocio con ellos. We are just going to visit the Velázquez brothers. We have some business with them." Harry told her. "Esos viejos chiflados, those crazy old men." The old lady frowned. "Sí, esos dos." Yes, those two. Harry already knew they had a bad reputation around here since they were a very eccentric duo. "Ajá, ahora te entiendo. Ajá, now I understand you," said Lily with confidence. "Bueno, si tienen que ir allí, no los voy a detener. Pero asegúrense de salir del callejón antes de que se haga de noche." "Well, if you have to go there, I'm not going to stop you, but make sure to get out of the alley before nighttime." The lady sighed and left them alone. "We should get going. We are going to attract attention if we stay in this corner," Harry told his mother. "Mira, Harry, estoy hablando español." "Look, Harry, I'm speaking Spanish." Lily had a smug smile on her face. "That's great, Mum, but the Velázquez brothers can speak English quite well, so you won't need that charm," Harry informed her. "¿Qué?" Lily exclaimed. Lily followed behind Harry as they passed by many shady-looking shops. Most of them closed, She only spotted a few people peeking through their windows as they walked by. This place will get very lively at night, but for now it's mostly closed. Unless they see us as easy targets, they won't come out, said Harry. Easy targets? Lily inquired. Ah, here it is. Harry took a turn to the right and into an even narrower passage. Lily's shoulders were almost touching the walls as she passed, and someone bigger than her would have to walk sideways to get through. Why would anyone have a business here? She wondered. After getting past the narrow passage, the area opened up a lot. What in Merlin's name? She was not expecting to see this. In the middle of a maze of stone brick buildings was a circular garden with a wooden fence and a fountain. At the center of the garden were two stone houses built against each other. It looked like if you were to remove one, the other one would crumble. The one on the right is the shop. Come on. Harry stepped forward and opened the wooden gate. Lily took a closer look and noticed the wood had started to rot and the garden was filled with growth, while the fountain looked like it hadn't seen water in centuries. This looks abandoned, she commented. I doubt they care at this point, Harry told her. Lily looked at the two houses. They were very similar, but the one on the left was in much worse shape and could collapse at any moment. She was surprised for this place to even exist here. For what she had heard, this alley was even more dangerous than Nocturne Alley, and yet, this little house was allowed to take up all this space when everyone else had small shops and houses, crammed against each other. She then stopped when she heard something crack beneath her feet. At first she thought it was just a branch, but then she noticed its peculiar shape. Wait! Isn't this? Oh, that's a broken wand, Harry said casually. I'm sure there are plenty around this garden. You mean? Lily looked around the place, but it was hard to distinguish anything with so many overgrown plants. This is the best location in the alley, no, the best in the city and many miles around it. I'm sure that many had wanted to take this spot for themselves. Harry told his surprised mother. You are saying the shop owners killed them? Of course. How else are they going to keep this location for so long? Harry pointed at a stone plaque on top of the door before knocking. Lily looked up at the plaque. It had the letters DCLX5 carved on the stone. 665, is that the year this was built? Many shops in Diagon Alley also had plaques with the year they started their business. But you said before this alley didn't exist until the 12th century, Lily recalled. The door opened by itself. Let's go. Harry stepped inside, and Lily followed behind him. She was pleasantly surprised to find that the interior was well kept and clean. It also looked much bigger inside compared to the small stone house she had seen. Bienvenidos. ¿En qué podemos servirles? Two elderly men wearing simple brown robes stood a few steps away from them. I need a staff. A good one, said Harry. Oh, British, I see. A staff, he says. The two of them looked at each other. Hello, Lily greeted the men. Wait, a staff? What do you need that for? You have a perfectly good wand already. Lily was confused. She of course knew about staves and other kinds of foci, but Britain only allowed wands to be used, so you would not see them there. Oh, what a wonderful young witch. Beautiful. Absolutely delightful. The two old men stared at Lily. Thanks? Lily didn't know how to react to that. Would you stop staring at my mother so much? Harry was getting annoyed. Forgive us. It's been so long since we have seen a young beautiful damsel like her. See, Harry? Your mother is still young and beautiful even after 3 children. Lily had a smug smile on her face now. Let's get to business, Harry sighed. I need something that would allow me to channel a large amount of magic without disintegrating. Harry said. How large are we talking about? Yes, it would help to know. About 5 grand sorceries. Harry answered. The two old men went pale. 5? Nonsense. He is speaking nonsense. Grand sorceries? Lily asked. She knew sorceries but nothing that could be called grand. Big spells, usually cast by groups of wizards or witches working together. Harry answered. And 5? Lily said. Harry had estimated that the unnamed magic he used against the colossal basilisk was around that level. If he could acquire a magical foci that would not break after activating his jewel array, he would be gaining an important weapon. He didn't know if that was possible. The staff he wielded in the past was incredibly good, but even those would break. He never had another chance to ask this duo for another one before this country was destroyed. So you can't do it? He asked. Did we say that? Nothing is impossible for us, they huffed. But not of wood, that's for sure. Yes, it would need to be made of that particular metal. Do we have any left? I think so. We made one kind of similar 3 centuries ago, remember? The one for the Syrian prince with the harem of virgin witches. That one. What happened to him? I think he blew himself up. And his harem? Them too. What a shame. A shame indeed. Can we focus? Harry interrupted their rambling. Did they say 3 centuries ago? Lily was barely following what they were saying, but she understood that. It can be done. It will be expensive though. That's fine by me. What do you want? Harry asked, already knowing that these two were not going to ask for money. But he had a bad feeling when they glanced at his mother. How expensive are we talking about? Lily was somewhat worried. She had brought with her a small bag of galleons, but wasn't sure if that would be enough. She could only hope that Harry had come prepared. Here, Harry pulled something out of a pocket and enlarged it until it became clear it was a leather bag. Then he handed it to the old men duo. They opened the bag and inspected its contents. Oh, not bad. Lots of good stuff in here. He had filled the bag with many rare materials that he assumed these craftsmen would find useful. He had spent a 40 on that, and he even included the heart of a nundu. Yes, this will do quite nicely, one of the men said. Harry was about to breathe a sigh of relief when the other one spoke. For half the payment, that is. Just half. Harry could not believe what he was hearing. These two were not so greedy in his previous life. Lily didn't know what Harry had put inside that bag, but seeing how surprised he was, it must have been very valuable. If that is not enough, I have some galleons with me. How much? No, my dear. We have no interest in your coins, or use for them. We only accept rare materials as payments. Rare materials? She had none of that on her. Never meet anyone who would not accept galleons as payment. Normally, yes, but perhaps there is something else you can offer us, the two of them said while staring intensely at Lily. All of a sudden, the temperature in the room dropped drastically. Be very careful with what you say next. Harry's voice sounded cold and threatening. Ho, dangerous. Dangerous indeed. The two old men moved their eyes to him. Harry? Lily glanced at her son. Is that his magic lashing out? But why does it feel so cold? Calm down, young lord. We would never ask for something inappropriate from a married woman. We merely ask for a kiss. On the cheek. From this beauty. Wait, that's all you want? Lily was confused. The temperature went back to normal, but Harry was still looking at them with a displeased expression. That's all we ask. You have our word. I mean, okay then. Lily approached them and gave each of them a quick kiss on their cheeks. Ah, how wonderful. Such soft lips. The two men appeared to be delighted by such a small gesture. Will you make the staff for my son now? She had no idea why Harry needed something like that, but it seemed to be important to him, so she wanted to help him. Yes. That was more than enough, young girl. You made these two old men very happy. The two said with wide grins on their faces. And had we asked for anything more, that young lord was ready to tear us apart. They peeked at him. You can be sure of that, Harry told them without skipping a beat. They requested anything more than that. He was ready to forget about the staff and teach these two old fossils a lesson, despite knowing they would not have been easy opponents. The two craftsmen have been around for a tremendous amount of time, and Harry was sure they had a lot of hidden tricks. So, you have received your full payment, he told them. Indeed, the young lord seems to be in a hurry, so we can get started right now. The youngest are always in a hurry. I wonder why you have the most time. The duo started to walk out of the room and signaled for Harry and Lily to follow them. They were led to a massively big basement, much bigger than the rest of the house altogether. The basement appeared to be separated into several sections, and was filled with all sorts of tools. It became evident that this was their main workshop, where they performed their craft. Over here, young lord. Move your hand over those containers and let us know if you feel anything unusual. They pointed to a large number of glass-looking containers stored on some wooden shelves. Are you trying to find the best core for him? Lily asked. She was at least aware of this part of the process for custom-made wands. Indeed, but it's not just one. Yes, wands need one core, but staves use two. However, I believe in this case. Yes, we will need three cores, Lily said with shock. To channel the amount of magic the young lord has requested, we will not ask questions on how he plans to accomplish that. Harry? Lily looked at her son, waiting for an answer. Do you trust me? Harry asked. Of course, Lily did not hesitate. I will show you everything when it's ready. Trust me until then. It would take too long to tell her about his artifacts, and this was definitely not the place or time for that. Lily stared at her son for a few seconds. Okay, I'll wait then. Go choose your cores, son. Harry hovered his hand over the glass boxes until he felt some sort of connection with their contents. This one, he called, and continued to move under the careful watch of the two craftsmen. This one, he called another one. And this one, he finally stopped. Let's see. Interesting. The duo started to write some notes. What materials did he choose? Asked Lily with curiosity. This is going to be our most difficult work to date. I think that too, brother. They looked at the names of the materials again. Unicorn horn, the stroll hair, and our last phoenix feather. Life, death, and resurrection. They were told to come back 3 days later to pick up the finished artifact. Returning to England would have been quite a hassle, since it would require them to acquire another international port key. So Lily and Harry decided to spend the time here in the city. For the next few days, mother and son spent their free time walking around Barcelona while doing some tourism and shopping, both in the Muggle part and Pomora Alley. On the afternoon of the third day, it was time to go back and visit the shop. The dark alley was a bit more lively than the last time they visited. They saw several suspicious-looking individuals who stared at them as they walked, but took no action against them. Should I be worried? Lily asked her son, not liking the way they were looking at them. Harry smiled. You should always be worried, but they don't seem to wish us harm. For now at least, he thought. Welcome. Welcome indeed. The old twins appeared to be in a good mood as they ushered them into the house. I take it that it was a success? Harry asked. Of course. A great success, they proclaimed loudly. And that's wonderful to hear, Lily said, relieved that the trip was worth it, at least for her son. She had plenty of fun just visiting a new place. Come, this way. The two old men guided them to a nearby table where something was covered with a piece of red fabric. Lily and Harry stood before the table and waited for the two men to continue. Allow me the honors. One of the twins pulled the piece of fabric away, revealing their creation. Our greatest masterpiece to date, the other one added. Oh, a smile appeared on Harry's face. That's a staff, Lily said, shocked. She had never seen a magical staff before, since they were not allowed in England, but this was not what she was expecting. The most shocking part to her was that it appeared to be made of metal. I thought staffs were made of wood, like wands. Normally that would be the case. To accomplish the requirements of the young lord, we had to resort to something more durable. No wood would have been able to channel so much magic through it. Only goblin steel had enough reliability while still being capable of acting as a conductor for the cores. The two old men explained. Goblin steel? Lily exclaimed. Isn't the forging of that material a huge secret for them? The goblins can rest assured. We don't know how to create the alloy. But we do know how to shape an already made one while keeping all its properties intact. That's incredible. Lily stared at the artifact. May I? Asked Harry. Of course, young lord. It is yours after all. Harry picked up the staff from the wooden stand where it was resting. It felt heavier than he expected, considering it was made of goblin steel, meaning they must have done something to increase its density and durability. The surface was silver and completely pristine. 4 rows of runes had been carved vertically across its surface, except at the handle where it was completely smooth and comfortable to hold. The 3 cores were all secured inside the metallic casing and could not be seen, but Harry could feel them in there, waiting for him. On the tip of the staff were 3 crystals he was not able to identify. They are called dragon opals. They can only be found on a small island north of Norway. They are the most resistant magical crystals in the world. Very rare ones too, the 2 men explained. Harry focused on moving his magic through the staff and creating a connection with it. It was very easy to do. After all, this was something made specifically to match his magic. The crystals on the staff started to shine with an intense green light, and a wave of energy came out of the artifact, pushing everything away while sparks of lightning jumped across its surface. Harry had to control the reaction that otherwise would have destroyed the small house and hurt everyone inside. A perfect match. I was expecting nothing less. The twins smiled with satisfaction. Amazing. Lily stared in awe at her son. Despite hearing stories about his accomplishments in his past life, she always had a hard time picturing him doing these things. For her, Harry was still her little boy, but seeing him like this now, his eyes brimming with barely contained power, his magic engulfing the room with such intensity that she had a hard time breathing. She could see it now. He really is something else. Things calmed down after a bit, and Harry placed the staff back on its stand. You two have created something impressive. Thank you, Harry told them. Aha, it was our pleasure, young lord. Yes, we should celebrate now. I will go fetch the good wine. I think we should get going. It's close to becoming dark already, Lily said with a slight worry. She had been told by several people never to go into the alley at nighttime. Here it is, one of the twins said with excitement in his voice after coming back with a dark bottle. Our last Chateau Lafite said. Lily stared at the bottle for a moment. Of course, one glass won't hurt. Ah, and then what happened? Lily asked. After drinking half a bottle of wine worth a small fortune, she was listening with rapt attention to a story being told by the old twins. Harry, on the other hand, had to content himself with a glass of water, since he was not technically old enough to drink alcohol. And that was the only thing these two old guys had in the house. Ho ho, it's nice to have a young beauty listening to our old stories. Yes. How long has it been since our last visitor? You know, if you moved your business to the main street, you two would have no lack of clients. She didn't understand why such incredible craftsmen had their shop in such a hidden place. My dear, that is just not possible. Indeed, this shop cannot be moved from here, and neither can these two old men. We will remain here until our time is up. The two had a sad expression on their faces as they spoke. But why is that? Lily asked. The shop cannot be moved because it's on top of a focal point, Harry explained. The young lord knows. That is correct. The quality of our work would not be the same in a different location. This is the best spot in the city. By focal point you mean a place where magic is more concentrated, right? Lily asked. Yes, Harry answered. Magic is everywhere, but it doesn't just sit in place. Instead it flows like a massive river. Sometimes two or more of those rivers will meet at the same location. Yes, I know about that. Most wizard family homes are located in places like those. And Hogwarts is supposed to be on top of a massive one, Lily commented. Correct, my dear. Our craft requires being close to one of these high magical density points. Magical communities always thrive if they are built at the center of one of those focal points. People also call them convergence points. Harry's expression changed when he heard that word. Not because he was unaware of that concept, but hearing that word out loud reminded him of something. A convergence point. That's the same way the Time book referred to the points where the wall between two realities was at its weakest, and it was then possible to cross, like what happened to me at the end of the year. Now that he thought about it, those two concepts may have some correlation. Hogwarts Diagon Alley and the train station were the places where he had been a witness of a convergence taking place. And those are also focal points with high magical density, especially Hogwarts. Am I overthinking things, or could they be related? Unaware of his internal musings, his mother continued the conversation with the old twins. So that's why you chose this spot. Very clever. But I assume a lot of people would also want to be here, right? Wait. As soon as she asked that question, she recalled all the broken wands in the front garden. Many have wanted our space. Yes. Many have tried and failed. They chuckled. But we didn't choose this place. Yes, Lady Pomora had good senses, the old men said. Lady Pomora, you mean the witch who first came here? Lily asked, still remembering clearly the story Harry told her. Yes. She was a wonderful witch. Indeed, she allowed us to build our house right next to hers. You mean, your ancestors? Because she lived here like 1500 years ago. Lily was confused. The two old men smiled. Lady Pomora took these two foolish old men into her house, after we escaped from Rome. It's been so long we went by a different name back then, but we still remember her like it was yesterday. That's impossible. You can't be that old, right? Lily thought that maybe she had misheard them because of the wine and turned to look at Harry. There are many ways to extend one's life, but they always come with a heavy price, Harry said. Wise words, young lord. And a heavy price we have paid. A myriad of emotions were concealed in their words. Do you regret it? Harry asked. No, the two of them said at the same time. Then it was worth the price. Harry nodded. Lily felt that she was missing something important. Thank you for your kind words, young lord, the two of them said. Lily wanted to ask why they kept calling her son young lord. At first she thought they were just being polite to an heir from a noble family. But would two wizards this ancient even care about English magical nobility? They never referred to her as lady, even though she is the Lady of House Potter. We should get going. It's getting late, Harry suggested. They had to return to the inn and pick up their things before going to the designated spot to use the portkey. Wait, but I have so many questions. You two have been alive for over a millennium. The amount of wisdom you must have. They laughed at hearing this. My dear, we have indeed seen and learned many things in our long life, but we have also forgotten just as many. What do you mean that you don't remember anything? Lily asked. We wouldn't say anything. We know a great deal about the crafting of staffs and a few other topics. But the human mind is very limited in how much it can store, even with the help of magic. They explained to her. But surely there is something important you must have learned after all this time. Lily insisted. There are some things, of course. Wisdom comes and goes. But your instincts honed over the years will only improve. Lily raised an eyebrow. Your instincts. That's it? Do not underestimate a person's instincts, especially ones honed over extreme periods of time. It is thanks to those instincts that one is able to discern things that others would miss, like gauging the power of an individual, regardless of how innocent they could look. They both glanced momentarily at Harry. Those are the kind of things that allows us to live this long. Are you that disappointed? Harry asked after leaving the garden. The sun was completely gone, and the sky was dark, but the streets still had some light coming from the surrounding houses. Lily turned around and got another glimpse of the two old houses, one leaning against the other. She now knew the abandoned house on the left belonged to the witch Pomora and her descendants. I mean, they have lived for so long. If it were me, I would have wanted to learn. I don't know everything. They probably did, but only what was truly important to them stuck for the rest of their journey. Harry told her. How do you think they did it? How did they live for 1500 years? He shrugged. If I have to guess, they found a way to bind their bodies to the focal point here, and use its magic and their own souls to extend their longevities for as long as possible. So they really can't leave the house, Lily recalled their words. There was probably a time when they were able to move around the city, but the leash continued to get shorter. By the looks of this garden, they haven't been able to leave the house for at least a century or two. They sacrificed their souls and freedom to live longer. Doesn't seem worth it. Lily considered. Everyone has different definitions for what is worth it. Harry reminded her. I suppose they appeared to be happy enough. The two of them walked through the dark alley in silence until Harry spoke again. How drunk are you after all that wine? Lily was surprised by the sudden question. I'm fine. It would take a lot more than half a bottle to get your mother drunk. That's good, because we are being ambushed. What? Lily noticed a flash of light behind her and moved aside. A red flash passed next to her head and impacted a nearby wall. Lily immediately pulled out her wand and scanned the area, trying to find the attacker. There. Lily pointed her wand and shot a silent stunner. The red light impacted someone, and they heard the sound of someone collapsing on the floor. Got him. Lily celebrated. Hija de puta, they heard a female voice yell. That was good, but not that useful. There are at least 3 enemies. Stunners are only good for duels. Renovate. They could not see where they were, but they heard the same female from before. We are back to 3, Harry pointed. Lily glanced at her son. He was standing with his arms crossed and his usual calm expression. "Wait, are you not going to do anything? Are you telling your young innocent son to go fight these evildoers for you?" Lily raised an eyebrow. He was not taking this seriously at all. "I want to see what Lily Potter can do. Don't worry about me," Harry told her. The last time she was too distracted while trying to protect him, but now she could focus on defending herself against the 4 enemies. He only had time to teach her one spell, but it would surely come in handy now. Of course he knew she was in no real danger, for as long as he remained close to her, but one day he may not be there and he wanted to make sure she could take care of herself. "What? You are going to let why?" Lily felt something and moved her wand forward. "Protego." A couple of spells hit her shield and broke it. Lily did not waste time and went for cover. She had 1 enemy behind and 2 more in front. Take the solitary one first, she thought. A light bombarder against the wall near the duo of thieves served as a distraction. The man and woman hidden in the shadows made a yelp of surprise when the wall next to them exploded, and they were forced to take a few steps back and duck for cover. Meanwhile, Lily sent a silent lumos behind her. The small ball of light illuminated the alley just enough to show her the position of the solitary thief. This was no moment to hesitate. She had a small opening to take this man out. Silencia. Stupefy. Incarcerus. She cast the 3 spells in one fluid motion, as her husband had taught her. The thief went down quickly, making it clear that these people were not duelist experts by any means, and instead were just 3 opportunistic thieves looking for some easy prey. With one down, Lily focused her attention on the other 2. She could not use a stunner now as they would be able to dispel it from each other, and she was not confident in being able to take both of them at the same time. "I'll have to use the spell he taught me." She felt a bit troubled. "Don't start doubting now, a moment of hesitation could kill you," Harry shouted at her. "Protego." Lily blocked the incoming spells, and it was time to fire back at them. "Divulsa." She made a cutting motion, and a wave of purple light came from her wand. The male thief tried to use a charm shield, but that only stopped half the spell. The reason Harry chose this particular lethal spell to teach his mother was because it was half a charm and half a curse, making it easier for her to learn it since Lily was already a master in charms. It was also a tricky spell to block, as people would often confuse the motion for a different charm and try to block it with a protego. That was a deadly mistake, as this would only block the charm while letting the curse pass by. "Ah!" The thief screamed as some purple liquid splashed onto his chest and started to dissolve it. His partner panicked and made another fatal mistake. She tried to remove the liquid using her robes. The curse spread to her and started to consume her. Lily flinched at the macabre spectacle but did not look away. "I did this. She was startled as all of a sudden, some masked man with a knife appeared on her side and tried to stab her. She could not react in time to save herself. But then, the man went flying and was smashed against the closest wall with a loud crunching noise. What was that?" She did not understand where that man came from. She looked at her son's expression and realized what had happened. "You told me there were only 3. I said at least 3, but you should never lower your guard. I could have also been wrong in my detection. I could still be wrong, and there could be more attackers around. To be honest, I'm not that great at detection." Lily could not argue against that. She had indeed gotten careless. Constant vigilance. That's what Moody always said. "Constant vigilance," Harry agreed. Harry landed close to the house. He would have used flow powder to travel here, but Luna's father was a very paranoid man and believed there was some conspiracy involving corrupted fairies leaking information to dark wizards. Funny enough, he wasn't completely wrong about that one. Apparition would have been risky since he had never been in this version of the Lovegood house, and things could be in a slightly different position compared to what he remembers. A humming sound could be heard when Harry tapped the property wards. This was a non-intrusive way to inform the home occupants of his presence. He was looking forward to his conversation with Xenophilius. It didn't take long for Luna to send him an invitation after he requested to speak with her father. The girl didn't even know what he wanted to speak about, but she had always been very carefree with these things. Harry felt the magic moving around the ancient wards, and the wooden house that had been previously in sight disappeared. It was then replaced by the real Lovegood house, as it came into view a short distance away. Had someone entered the property without permission, they would have wandered around for a very long time before finding the real place. The Lovegood family home was more similar to a tower than a typical house. Wizards used to employ these kinds of buildings a lot in the past as they were easier to defend. The tower was surrounded by a well-kept garden filled with flowers of all kinds and colors, giving the otherwise gloomy tower a picturesque appeal. Harry had no doubt this was Luna's doing. The door of the tower opened up by itself. "I guess I'm being welcomed," Harry told himself while walking towards it. "Daddy, Harry is here." He heard Luna calling from upstairs as he crossed the entrance. "I'll be down in a minute, Pudding," her father answered. The blonde girl came down the stairs while jumping. "Hi," she greeted him with excitement. "Hello, Luna. Have you been practicing what I taught you?" "Yes, I have already disarmed all the scarecrows in the field," Luna explained. "Poor scarecrows," Harry lamented. "Lyra told me to visit your home tomorrow," she commented. Yes. He had agreed to give the girls a few more classes until the end of the summer. After all, he had plenty of free time even with his own personal daily train. Today she went to the Weasleys. Ginny's oldest brother is also there, I believe. Ah, there he is. Xenophilius descended the stairs and glanced at him with interest. The man had long blonde hair like his daughter and was wearing a flamboyant yellow tunic that would make Dumbledore proud. "Let us take a seat in the kitchen. We can talk there," he said with a mischievous smile. Harry and Luna followed him, and the three of them sat down at a small circular wooden table. "Very cozy for an old tower," Harry commented after looking around the kitchen. "Right?" Xenophilius grinned. "It's all thanks to my Luna. I don't know what I would do without her." His expression changed to a very serious one as he looked directly into Harry's eyes. "So, Mr. Potter, I know why you are here." Harry raised an eyebrow. Did he sense the item in my bag? Maybe I didn't give him enough credit, but why do I feel so much tension in the air? "Mr. Lovegood, allow me to speak first." Xenophilius raised a hand to interrupt him. "I know you are here to request the hand of my lovely daughter in marriage, but let me tell you something first." What? He knew the man was peculiar, but he was not expecting this.
Why are all purebloods so obsessed with marriage?
In his previous life he had grown away from the magical world, and even after entering Hogwarts, he never got involved in politics, so he was not used to these things. "Don't you think for a second that it will be that easy? I will not give you my precious Luna." He slammed his palm on the table with fury. "No, that's not what I—" "Very well," Xenophilius interrupted him again. "Your tenacity has won me over. You may marry my beloved Luna, but I have two conditions, and they are not negotiable." "Like I'm trying to say, that is not what I—" "Condition 1. Xenophilius raised one finger in the air. "You must treat her like she is the most important thing in the world, because she is." He raised another finger. "And 2, you must move to live here. This tower would crumble in a week with my daughter." Harry looked at the girl in question. "Can you reason with your father, please?" "Huh?" Luna was staring at the ceiling with misty eyes. "Sorry, I think I saw a crumble hornet Snorlax passing by." "You weren't listening at all," Harry sighed. "Did I miss something important?" "That happens a lot," Luna told him. "Wait, don't tell me." Xenophilius gave him a suspicious look. "You want to taste the milk without buying the cow?" "Kay." Luna became confused. "Daddy, don't be silly. We don't have any cows here." "I'm going to stop you right there." He did not like where this conversation was going, so he put his bag on the table and opened it up. "I came to talk about this." He pulled his invisibility cloak out. "A cloak? Wow, it's so pretty," Luna commented. "What is this?" Zeno got closer to inspect the item. "Why did you bring me a—" "Wait a minute." He saw the symbol inscribed near the neck area of the cloak, and his demeanor completely changed. "Can it be?" he said with shock. "I have looked for them for so long. Is this really?" "Yes. This is the cloak of invisibility. It has been passed down through my family for many generations," Harry explained. "The Potters had it, of course. I should have known. The Potters and the Peverells were very close in the past," Zeno said. "Yes, I heard that too." Harry nodded. "Incredible. This is a real hallow," But Gino ran his fingers through the fabric and noticed the obvious issue. It stopped working a year ago. Harry confirmed his suspicions. This can't be possible. Zeno picked up the cloak and examined it further. Are you sure it's not a fake one? Luna asked. Her face was uncharacteristically serious. Even a high-quality invisibility cloak doesn't last more than a few years. This one has been in my family for several centuries and was working perfectly until last year when it suddenly lost all its power and became a normal cloak. This is a real Hallow, one of the three. I would bet my life on that claim, Harry answered. I do not doubt your word, Mr. Potter, but you said this cloak lost its power. That is just not possible, Zeno told him. Well, that's what happened, Harry said. You are aware of the source of this power? Yes. He nodded. Of course, I know what the tale said. These 3 artifacts were crafted by Death himself. Is more than just a tale. I have spent a very long time researching them, trying to find them, and I have learned much about them and where they came from. Their power originates from Death, yes, and thus can never be exhausted or disappear for as long as Death exists. Why did it stop working then? Do you have any theories? Asked Harry. If its power didn't vanish, that must mean it went somewhere else, Zeno said. It went somewhere else. Harry muttered. If you could find the other 2, perhaps we could learn more, Zeno suggested. Harry thought about it. I may be able to get my hands on the wand. You know where the Wand of Power is. Zeno didn't expect him already to know where the second artifact was located. I do, but I have good reason to believe it had also lost its power. I'll try to get it, Harry told him. I could pay a visit to Riddle Manor at some point to see if the stone is still there, but that is very unlikely. Would you mind leaving the cloak with me? I would love to study it further, Zeno requested. If that helps, I don't mind, but take good care of it. Even without its power, it is still a family relic, Harry said. Of course, Mr. Potter. Zeno appeared to be very excited at the prospect of studying one of the legendary Hallows. Just call me Harry, no need for Mr. Oh, in that case you must also address me by name. Mr. Lovegood is just too long and formal. You may call me Xenophilius Louis Gruffydd III. Harry raised an eyebrow. Can I just call you Zeno? He shrugged. If you prefer it. Once you marry my daughter you can call me father. What? He thought they were done with that. I'm getting married to Harry. This was new for Luna. No, hold on. Oh no. Ginny and Lyra are going to be very disappointed, Luna said with a sad tone. Wait, what? Harry shouted. On the next day, Ginny and Luna came to the Potter Manor for another defense practice session with Harry. So, is it not true? Lyra leaned closer as she asked him for the 3rd time. How many times do I have to tell you? No one is getting married. Harry was beginning to lose his patience. Ginny glanced at Luna. What did your father say? Oh, he offered my hand to him, but Harry said he had to think about it. Luna explained. I did not. Harry noticed the tiny smile on Luna's face and realized she was messing with Lyra and Ginny. This must be her version of a prank, I guess. Forget about that, you have better things to occupy your minds on, Harry told them. Huh? But Lyra muttered. Today I'm going to teach you the stunning charm. Harry aimed his wand at one of the training dummies. Stupefy. A wisp of red light impacted the chest of the dummy, creating a lot of sparks. Isn't that a bit boring? Lyra complained. Boring? Harry questioned her. Yes, I mean yesterday, Ginny's brother taught us this bat bogey hex. Lyra waved her wand at the dummy and was surprised when nothing happened. The bat bogey hex won't work on a wooden dummy. It has no bogies, Harry informed her. Oh, that makes sense, said Ginny. What were you thinking? It's so obvious. Luna taunted her. Shut up. Lyra became embarrassed. Harry, did you know my brother's jinx? Ginny asked. This was supposed to be something her brother had created, so how could Harry know about it? No, by the way she formed her magic, the wand movements and the name. I was able to figure out what the jinx is supposed to do. He just said the first thing that came to his mind. Amazing. Ginny looked at him. Her amber eyes were filled with admiration. Stop it, you are making me feel guilty, Harry thought. In any case, Lyra spoke again. Can you teach us something like that? You want to learn something flashy and eye-catching? Harry asked. Yes, Lyra shouted with excitement. Ginny did not say anything, but was also looking with a lot of interest. Okay, pay attention. I will only show it to you once. Lyra got closer and opened her eyes wide open. Lumos solum. Ah, my eyes, Lyra shouted. The Potter family was having dinner one night when James had some news for them. I will be gone for the next week. I have an investigation to perform in France, James announced. You are going to Paris? Lyra became instantly interested in the conversation. Is this about that case of missing people you were working on? Harry asked. Yes, it's still that same case, James replied. Those missing persons must be very important then, Harry pointed out. The ministry would never try this hard if the victims were from an average wizarding family. They are, yes, James confirmed. Who are they? Someone we know? Lyra inquired. Harry observed his mother's expression, and by the faces she was making, she knew. I cannot talk about an investigation in progress, James said. But you told Mom, Harry countered. I did not, James muttered. Oh, come on, you can trust us, we won't tell anyone, Lyra exclaimed. You are terrible at keeping secrets. You always end up saying something, James reminded her. If an important pure-blood family has disappeared, the ministry won't be able to keep it a secret for too long anyway. People always talk, Harry remarked. He is right, James. When the boy fails to show up at school, they will know that something has happened, Lily added. The boy? Lyra asked. James sighed in defeat. Fine, but better keep your mouths shut about this. If people find out, let it be by someone else. It's the Malfoys. They have been missing since the end of June. Draco is missing. Harry was not expecting that. James nodded. And his mother too. Any suspects? Harry inquired. We already questioned the most obvious ones, but we have nothing to link them with the disappearance. The usual ones. He is likely referring to Lord Parkinson, the current Dark Lord, and his closest associates. But if they are not involved in their disappearance, there is another individual that could be responsible for this. That would be Voldemort. Harry thought about it for a moment. By the look his father was giving him, he had reached the same conclusion. And what are you going to do in France? Lyra wanted to know. The Malfoys have 2 properties in France. We may be able to find something if we search them. Be careful, you don't know what you could find, Harry warned him. If Voldemort was actually involved in this, things could become dangerous. I'm always careful, son, James grinned with confidence, and I will have Mad-Eye Moody with me, as well as a few other competent auras. We will be fine. Harry didn't leave the house much during the next week. For the next practice, Daphne had brought with her the full list of materials he requested from her father. There was still a month left before Holly's birthday, and he had a promise to keep. He had to craft a golem for her. Harry taught Luna, Ginny, and Daphne how to use the silencing charm, while Daphne began to practice the Incarcerous conjuration. This was considered a very advanced spell, but Daphne showed an impressive amount of talent. Once she masters her arsenal and learns to chain spells, one after another, she will be a force to reckon with. Ginny, do you have a minute? Harry approached the redhead. Yes? Yes. Of course. Ginny did her best to hide her nervousness. She didn't have many chances to speak with him alone. What is it? There has been something I have been meaning to tell you for a while but haven't found the chance. Ah, really? She stammered her words and looked down to hide her embarrassment. Yes, how do I say this? How do you feel about? Yes, she hurried to say. Ginny? I haven't asked you the question yet. Harry looked confused. Sorry. It's okay. So what I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about becoming a seeker for the Quidditch team? Wait. Seeker. Now it was Ginny's turn to be confused. I haven't told anyone yet, but I'm planning on quitting the team, Harry explained. What? Why? You are the best seeker the team ever had, she asked. There is no way to say this without sounding arrogant, but playing at Hogwarts is boring for me. There is no challenge, and I'm sure my teammates resent me for winning the games too quickly and not giving them the chance to play that much. You did finish all the games very quickly. That's true, Ginny assented. But you want me to take your place? I don't think that. Yes, I have only seen you fly a couple of times, but I can already tell that you have a lot of talent, Harry said. Ginny was taken aback by the sudden praise. I don't know. I am aware that you and Lyra wanted to play as chasers, but there won't be an opening in that position for at least 2 more years, and playing as a seeker would allow you to improve your flying skills. Ginny nodded. She could not argue with what he was saying, and she knew it was a great opportunity, but she didn't feel prepared to take on such a role right now. We still have a bit over a month before classes start. I could teach you a few things. Ginny's interest peaked at hearing this. You want to give some personal training? Yes, Harry nodded. Just you and me? Ginny asked. Well, of course. I'll do it, Ginny shouted. On the next day, the Potter family received some concerning news. James had been seriously injured during his mission in France and was currently in St. Mungo's. They rushed to the hospital, and upon entering his room the family found Alastair Moody standing next to his bed. Daddy. James. Looks like your family is here to see you, James, Moody said, his magical eyes scanning the crowd for any threats. James, though visibly tired, managed to smile. I'm sorry for making you all worry. I'm fine. Harry observed him carefully. He seemed fine at first, but then he noticed his left leg was covered in bandages. It also appeared too thin for a normal leg, giving Harry an unpleasant feeling. Your leg? He said. It was hit by a very potent dark curse, but it's fading already, he noticed with relief. Yes. That was nasty curse. James replied, not seeming inclined to elaborate on the details in front of his daughters. Don't worry, boy. Your father won't be needing one of these. Moody tapped his prosthetic leg. The healers did manage to remove the curse. He'll be walking soon enough. James, is that true? Lily stared at her husband with concern. I may need to use a cane for a while, but the healers said they will be able to regrow all the muscle and bones in less than a week, and then I'll need at least 2 or 3 more weeks to recover completely. That's a relief. Lily turned to Moody. What about you, Alastair? Were you hurt too? Just a few scratches. I got lucky. Can't say the same about my other men, Moody said somberly. You mean? Lily didn't need to finish the question. Moody shook his head. Well, I'll leave you for now. You seem to be in good hands, Moody said. Oh, before I forget, Amelia contacted me. She will come by tomorrow to visit you. I understand. She is going to need my full report, James replied. Moody bid farewell to the family and left the room. When can you leave the hospital? Asked Lyra. I think in about 6 or 7 days. You don't have to return to work so soon, right? Lily asked. James shook his head. I still need to speak with my boss, but they should let me free until my leg is completely recovered. Does it hurt? Holly asked with concern. Not anymore, my love. They gave me a lot of medicine, James reassured her. His eyes met Harry's for a moment. Lily, can you take the girls out for a moment? I need to speak with Harry alone for a few minutes. Okay, Lily didn't question it. She knew her husband wouldn't have asked for this if it weren't important. Let's go, girls. Yeah? But I want to stay with Daddy, Holly complained. I know, dear, but why don't we go buy something delicious to eat from the cafeteria, and bring some to your dad? Maybe some sweets too, Lily suggested. Holly was already at the door. Let's go. Lyra looked back at Harry, suspicion filling her eyes, but she didn't say a word. Harry noticed this. He knew his sister sensed that something was off with him. It made sense after everything she had seen him do, but for now at least, she hadn't demanded any explanation, and he wondered how long that would last. After the girls left, Harry closed the door and secured the room with a few charms. So, what happened there? Harry asked. James sighed. As planned, we went to investigate the 2 Malfoy properties. The first one was completely empty, and I really mean empty. Not even a piece of furniture was left. The Malfoys are probably hurting for money. It wouldn't be surprising if they sold everything that was non-essential to them, Harry remarked. Yes, that was our conclusion too, James admitted. And then, what happened at the second house? James took a moment to gather his thoughts before continuing. That one was different. There were signs that someone had been living there until very recently. We did not find any traces of the Malfoys, even after using all sorts of tracking spells, making it clear that whoever had been living there had not been the Malfoys. And then, an ambush. 5 individuals. We don't know where they came from. We made sure the house was empty. Even Moody scanned everything with his magical eye. They must have apparated in, Harry suggested. Apparition or a flu entrance are the most likely scenarios. But that means we must have triggered some alarm that alerted them to our presence in the house. But still, even in that scenario we should have had the advantage. Counting me and Moody, there were 10 auras. 9 were veterans with many years of combat experience. We only managed to take down one of them while they killed 8 of us. And almost got me too, if it hadn't been for Moody's quick reaction. They were that good? Harry understood the Death Eater organization quite well. During its early years that group was composed of lords, ladies, and their pure-blood descendants. They were all from wealthy families, and as expected they were not the best fighters. Few of them could have defeated a veteran aura. Had it not been for Voldemort himself, they would not have gotten very far in their initial rebellion. Of course that changed during the Third War when demons came into play. But that was not applicable here. We underestimated them, I'll admit that much. Were they really Death Eaters? Harry asked. What did they look like? Did you manage to identify any of them? James shook his head. They wore black tunics and pure white masks. All the masks looked exactly the same. A simple skull with some brand on the forehead. We were only able to kill one of them, but they took the body away. The description could fit the Death Eaters, but their masks were all different though. They liked to be unique in their own way. Harry commented. Yes, I noticed that too. These were different, and they were much stronger than the typical Death Eater, James said. Can you show me your memory of the event? Perhaps I can find something else, Harry requested. I was just going to ask you that, James grinned. He lay back on his bed and looked directly at Harry. Go ahead, I have lowered my defenses. His wand appeared in his hand. Legilimency. Harry's vision changed as he delved into his mind, and he found himself in a poorly lit living room. He was seeing things from his father's perspective. Moody was just a few feet away, looking around incessantly. 5 more auras were in the room, rummaging through drawers and cabinets. Another aura entered the room to give a report, and that's when things went awry. Moody yelled at the aura next to the door to take cover, but it was too late. A flash of green light hit him on the side and he fell down. 5 individuals with black cloaks entered and started attacking them. The auras fired back while using the furniture as cover. Spells flew all over the place. But Harry noticed that 2 of the masked individuals never cast any spells. They didn't even hold wands in their hands. Instead they wielded knives. The 3 who did use magic were extremely skilled. They didn't just use the killing curse and hope for the best. They combined it with many other support spells to disable their opponents and used the environment to their advantage. They also served as cover for the knife users. When the auras hid behind the furniture and stopped shooting, the knife-wielding Death Eaters jumped into action. They moved at an impossible speed, leaving behind a shadowy residue. They leaped through the air and climbed walls to avoid the aura's spells before attacking them with their knives. One of Moody's curses hit one of the wand-wielding Death Eaters, killing them on the spot. At this point only Moody and James were left. James faced off against one of the knife users and was stabbed in the leg during the struggle. Harry paid attention to the weapon now that it was up close. The blade was completely black and had a clear baleful aura around it. James managed to push the attacker away with a depulso before being stabbed again. Moody grabbed him and they escaped by breaking one of the windows and mounting onto Moody's broom. Harry's vision returned to the present as he looked at his father. That was close. James nodded solemnly. Yes, very close. I don't want Lily or the girls to know how close it was. Did you know you were almost killed by a vampire with a cursed blade? Harry asked. James didn't seem surprised to hear this. So it was a vampire? I didn't know for sure. I knew it wasn't a normal human, but Moody has more experience with them and told me. Uncle Remus mentioned some strange vampire activity last year. Harry recalled hearing that but didn't think much of it at the time. Yes, we also received some reports of the sort over the past year or so. It seems like he had successfully recruited a few vampire clans into his ranks. Voldemort. James looked genuinely worried now. You're going to have to be extra careful for now. We don't know what else he has or what he has been doing for the past 10 years. It's obvious that he has not been idle. Voldemort has spent the last decade preparing for his return. The last month of the summer went by quickly. While their father enjoyed his vacation relaxing at home, Harry finished the golem he had promised his sister Holly for her birthday. It was made of wood, stood 20 centimeters tall, 7.8 inches, and had a high-quality arkstone to act as a renewable source of power. The construct was only able to follow simple commands, so it didn't have much practical use, but Holly loved it nonetheless. She called it Woody, and had it running all around the house. On the last week of the summer, just one day before their trip to Diagon Alley, Harry had made plans with Ginny to give her one last class before it was time for Hogwarts. When he entered the garden, Harry was surprised to find his sister and Ginny having a heated argument. "Why are you being like this?" Ginny asked. "You know why? Why have you spent so much time with him?" Lyra demanded to know. "I already told you everything." Ginny sounded frustrated. "I don't keep secrets from you. You think I didn't notice? You haven't mentioned Neville or the boy who lived in months," Lyra said back. That has nothing to do with anything," Ginny replied. "Yes, it does. You got over Neville and now you're going after Harry. Well, you can't have him," Lyra huffed.
What?
Ginny was taken aback by her friend's reaction. She was then going to say something, but Lyra stormed away. "Lyra," Ginny called for her but was ignored. She stood there in shock, not sure what she should do next. "Lyra can be very temperamental sometime," said Harry, startling Ginny in the process. "Harry, were you listening to our conversation?" she asked. "I wasn't trying to pry, but you two were being quite loud," Harry told her. "Right, about what Lyra said." Ginny became very embarrassed. "Don't worry about it," Harry reassured her. "I'll go talk to Lyra. Why don't you wait here for a bit? We have our class afterward." "Are you sure it's a good idea?" That was the main reason she got mad. Ginny appeared to be conflicted. "Of course, it's our last practice, we can't waste it," Harry insisted. Ginny assented. "Okay, I'll wait then. Will you tell Lyra that I never wanted to do anything to upset her?" Harry gave her a thumbs up. "Leave it to me." He found that Lyra was inside her room thanks to a couple of point me spells. She had locked the door. Elohimora. "Hey, what are you doing?" she shouted when she saw the door opening. "What if I was changing?" "Nothing I haven't seen before," Harry told her nonchalantly. "Don't remind me of that," she complained while her cheeks became somewhat red. "What are you doing here?" "I came to talk to you about that silly argument you had with Ginny," Harry told her. Lyra's eyes opened widely. "You heard that?" "I heard some of it. What was that about anyway?" "I was just giving her some flying lessons so she could take my place as Seeker next year." "I'm sure she told you about it." "I know," Lyra admitted, "but Ginny, never mind." "She wants to take me away?" Harry asked. Lyra became embarrassed at being reminded what she said, but then, she nodded. "Do you have any idea how silly that sounds?" Harry asked. Lyra did not answer, and instead continued to look down at her bed. "I'm your brother, Lyra, and no one will take me away from my family." She lifted her gaze and stared at him. "Then why did you trust her with your secret instead of me?" "It wasn't much of a secret. I just told Ginny, because it was relevant to her, but that's not the secret you really want to talk about, is it?" "Well," Lyra appeared to be hesitant to speak about this. "Go on, you can tell me anything. You know that," Harry reassured her. "Yes. I overheard a conversation you had with Mom and Dad last Christmas." "I see, and what did you hear?" he asked, unsure about what conversation she had heard. "I didn't understand much, but there was something about your original second year, a diary, and I think you said that you had fought the basilisk before. What was all that?" "I don't understand," Lyra questioned. Now he could recall the conversation she was referring to. No wonder she is so confused. No one would understand that out of context. Harry sat on the bed and took a deep breath. "It's true, there is a big secret about me that I have not told you." "I knew it." Lyra perked up. "What is it then?" "I can't tell you right now," Harry said. "Why not? I know I'm not the best at keeping secrets, but come on." Lyra exclaimed. "At least you admit that much. But it's not that simple." This is not a random gossip that Lavender and Parvati would comment about. If this information ended up in the wrong hands, our entire family could be in mortal danger. Do you understand? Harry's serious tone startled her. Is it that bad? Lyra already knew this was something important, but not like this. Yes, it is. I don't like keeping things from you, but if you want to get involved in this, you will have to show me that you are truly ready, Harry told her. Okay, what do I need to do? She asked. Do you know what occlumency is? Harry asked her. I do. It's some type of magic that is used to protect the mind. Dad said he was going to teach me when I was older. He said it was very important. It is very important, yes. There are people out there who can enter your mind and steal all your secrets. Occlumency is your only defense against such an attack, Harry explained. Will you teach me then? Harry nodded. And when I learn this occlumency, once you can protect yourself, I will reveal everything. In truth, he did not want her to know much, not because of a lack of trust, but because he did not want to see his sister involved in the upcoming war. If he is lucky, everything will be over before she comes close to mastering occlumency. Lyra appeared to be satisfied enough with this deal. At least she had confirmed her brother was keeping a secret and had promised to tell her in the future. Now that this matter is resolved, can you go back and fix things with your friend? Harry asked. I think I owe her an apology. I'm sure it will be fine. Ginny knows you are very hot-headed and get easily carried away, Harry told her. I am never mind. She had no defense. Say, Harry, can I join in the flying practice? Sure, I don't see why not. This is the last lesson, thought. Harry said. That's great. Let's go then. Lyra looked excited now. 1 week before classes, Dumbledore's office. The headmaster of Hogwarts was not having a great summer. First, he had been stressed trying to locate his mentor, Nicholas Flamel. The man had become more elusive over the years, if that was possible, always going on some long trip and becoming unreachable in the meantime. After a month of trying every method he knew, Dumbledore finally managed to establish contact and secure a meeting with the man. It did not go as well as he expected. Nicholas, despite his centuries of knowledge, did not have enough understanding about the complexities of time magic to offer any useful insight that could explain the bizarre recent events. He did, however, promise to put him in contact with a friend of his who was a true expert on the matter. Dumbledore could only hope his mentor understood the urgency of the situation and did not delay things too much as he usually does. Headmaster, what am I going to do? Dumbledore's mind stopped wandering for a moment. He adjusted his glasses and looked at the frantic divination professor, wondering what he could possibly tell her this time. Sybil, without knowing the cause of this issue, I have no solution to offer at the moment. But how am I going to teach classes like this? I have lost my gift, she exclaimed. Dumbledore sighed. This was her 4th visit to his office this summer. During the 1st and 2nd visits, she claimed that her visions were getting muddier and less accurate. He attributed this to stress and told her to take some time to relax. But during her 3rd visit she claimed to have become completely unable to predict the future any longer. Now, that was concerning. To be fair, Trelawney had never been the most gifted diviner he had ever met. Other than that one time she made a prophecy about Voldemort, her predictions rarely came true, even the ones about the weather. The reason he kept her around was that, even with her flimsy predictions, she at least knew enough theory to teach the students, and that was good enough for him. Even if she had somehow lost her gift, it wouldn't have been a big deal in the grand scheme of things. But it soon became obvious that this was not an isolated incident. Through Hagrid as an intermediary, he received a message from the Centaur tribe who lived in the Dark Forest. They wanted to meet with him and discuss some urgent matters. He had been headmaster for a very long time, and this had been the first time the Centaurs requested to meet with him in person. That went to show the severity of the situation. Centaur diviners were considered among the best in the entire world. So when they informed him that, like Trelawney, they had become unable to see the future, or as they said it, they couldn't hear the whispers of the stars, that was very concerning. Headmaster, are you listening to me? Trelawney called him again. Oh, my apologies. I got lost in my thoughts again. Dumbledore considered for a moment. Perhaps you can still do your class as usual. Just teach the theory to the children. But what if my gift is gone forever? What am I going to do then? I'm afraid it's more complex than that. I have spoken with other diviners, and they are all in the same situation as you, Sybil. Now, I am sure there is nothing to worry about and that this is just a temporary issue that will be solved soon enough. The professor didn't seem that convinced. I don't know, Headmaster. My instinct tells me that this is just the beginning of something much worse. Don't be so pessimistic, Sybil, I am sure. All of a sudden the fire in his fireplace lit up with green flames coming out of it. Albus! Albus! Are you there? The headmaster turned around and glanced at the fireplace. Very few people in the world were able to contact him in such an invasive way, but he was very familiar with this voice. Cornelius, what is the matter? He noticed the minister's alarmed tone. Albus, there you are. You need to come to the ministry right now. It's an emergency. Emergency? Dumbledore frowned. Could it have been an attack? Did he? What kind of emergency? Something happened to the Hall of Prophecies. You have to come quickly. Fudge demanded. The Hall of Prophecies? Dumbledore glanced at his side where Sybil was still sitting. This has to be related to this divination issue. Very well. Open the flue. I'm coming through. The headmaster's eyes moved again to the divination professor. Perhaps you can come too, Sybil. This may be connected to your issue. The two of them appeared in a big office. The Ministry of Magic and a few of his attendants were waiting for them. Ah, there you are, Albus. Finally, wait. Who is this? He pointed at the redhead woman. This is my divination professor. If there is an issue in the Halls of Prophecies, she may have something useful to add. Dumbledore said. Oh, that's fine, whatever. Let's hurry. I have a press conference in an hour, and I don't know what to say. Someone had leaked the issue to the press. Can you believe it? Fudge looked outraged. What is the issue exactly? Dumbledore asked. It's best if you see it yourself. Come on, let's go. Fudge and his attendants escorted the headmaster and professor to the Hall of Prophecies, deep inside the Department of Mysteries. Let's see what you make of this. Fudge asked his assistant to open the door. Dumbledore and Sybil entered the hall. He was very familiar with this place, as he had visited often, especially after that foreboding prophecy made by Trelawney. He now looked at the hall, and it took him a few seconds to process what he was seeing. On a usual day, the crystal spheres would have some white mist inside them. This was the prophecy that was contained inside the glass ball. Once activated, this would start to shine with a bright white light. Once the prophecy was completed, the sphere would go black. How could this have happened? Dumbledore's eyes moved around the hall from one sphere to another, hoping to find a different one, but they all looked the same. They are all clear. The crystal spheres were now all completely clear. There was no color to them and no white mist inside them. There was nothing inside them. The prophecies. Trelawney picked up one of the spheres in her hands. They are all gone. All the prophecies are gone. Dumbledore grew alarmed. Gone? How can they be gone? What does this mean? You know what it means, Headmaster. Trelawney looked at him directly. This means that this is what I was afraid of. Fate has abandoned us. The students rushed into the great hall with excitement and joy. Harry walked to his usual seat next to Hermione. Lavender and Parvati were already in the middle of a discussion about the new defense against the dark arts professor. You think it's going to be another handsome man? Lavender asked. Another? I thought you didn't like Lockhart, Parvati questioned her friend. Not as a teacher, but I won't deny he was good-looking. And our first year one Professor Naya was also nice. Lavender added. I suppose, but I do wonder what happened to Professor Naya though. We never heard any news about him after he left at the end of the year, Parvati said, turning to her other friend. What do you think, Hermione? I think that as long as we have a competent teacher, I will be happy, Hermione answered. What a mature answer, said Parvati. But you did have a crush on Lockhart. Yes, Hermione is growing up. You think she is going to have a boyfriend this year? Lavender teased her. Maybe. I bet she'll receive a few invitations to Hogsmeade at least, Parvati said with a grin on her face. Hey, don't talk like I'm not here. I hate that. And instead of worrying about me getting a boyfriend, why not find one for yourselves? Hermione huffed. I'm sure I will find one soon enough, Parvati said, with a smug expression. Actually, I have already been asked, Lavender commented, taking the other girls by surprise. How? We just got here. Hermione asked. Yes, and we were together on the train. I'm sure you didn't talk with any boys, Lavender added. It was this summer. I have been exchanging some letters with a fourth-year boy from Ravenclaw, Lavender confessed. How come we only found out about this now? You can never keep your mouth shut. Hermione was confused. That's right, you can never keep quiet about anything, Pravati exclaimed. Well, I don't gossip about myself, hee. Lavender chuckled. Ah, how lucky. You guys can go to Hogsmeade this year. Ginny and I still have to wait for another year, Lyra commented. Was there anyone in particular you wanted to go with? Lavender asked. Don't answer that, she will tell everyone, Hermione warned. Is not like that, Lyra hurried to say. I just mean I wanted to go with my friends. I mean spending all year in the castle gets boring. Can't argue with that, Pravati nodded. What about you, Ginny? Lavender gave her a knowing grin. Anyone you wanted to go with? Heh? The redhead became visibly embarrassed and stole a glance at Harry. I don't know. Look, the sorting is about to begin, Harry pointed out, hoping to end this conversation. Where is Astoria? Ah, there she is. Lyra waved toward the group of first years. Astoria, good luck. A friend of yours? That first year? Hermione asked. Yes, but she is going to be in the second year actually, Lyra said. How so? Is she some sort of genius? Lavender asked. She is the same age as Ginny and me, but she was too sick to attend school last year, Lyra explained. Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear it, said Hermione. But she is fine now and she still received private tutoring at home, so the headmaster agreed to let her start in the second year. Lyra added. That's great. Now let's hope she gets sorted into Gryffindor, Pravati said. That would be unlikely. Her sister is in Slytherin. I think most of her family is in that house actually, Lyra recalled. Her sister? Hermione asked. Astoria Greengrass. Professor McGonagall called her name out loud. Wait, Greengrass? Lavender exclaimed. She is the sister of Daphne Greengrass, the Ice Queen, Parvati asked. The black-haired girl sat down and the professor placed the sorting hat on her head. Just a few seconds later, it had reached its decision. Ravenclaw. Oh, she didn't go to Slytherin. Lyra was the first one to be surprised. Looks like Luna is going to have some company this year. Ginny knew that Luna did not get along with the other Ravenclaw girls her age, so she hoped that she would become friends with Astoria at least. Those two together, I wonder if they will get along. They are both strange in their own ways, Lyra commented. At the Slytherin table, Daphne was watching with interest as her sister was sorted. Oh, that's too bad. She didn't get sorted here, Tracy said. My mother went to that house. I'm sure she will be fine there, Daphne said calmly, keeping her emotions in check. When Ravenclaw was announced, she felt a mix of sadness and relief. She would have liked to have her sister in her house, but on the other hand it was probably best to stay clear from here. It had become obvious to her almost immediately after sitting down that the mood in the Slytherin house felt very tense this year. Something was definitely different. Daphne was yet to find out for sure, but it may have something to do with what Harry had told her at the end of the summer. Her eyes moved to Pansy Parkinson for a moment. The girl had been unusually quiet since she entered the train. Something must have happened near the end of the summer, she concluded. They both talked in July, and she appeared to be her usual self. Welcome to another year at Hogwarts. The headmaster climbed onto the podium and announced loudly once the sorting was over. Now I would like to say a few words before we are all too busy with our excellent feast. The crowd of students waited patiently. After all, the food was not going to appear until he was done with what he wanted to say. Harry glanced over the professor's table and noticed 3 empty seats. What's that about? First, I would like to announce that our Care of Magical Creatures teacher has decided to retire after many years of service. He wanted to keep his remaining limbs intact. Wait, what did he say? Hermione asked. Fortunately, I'm delighted to announce that his place will be taken by none other than our beloved groundskeeper, Rubeus Hagrid. Everyone clapped as the half-giant approached the professor's table and took his seat. I guess some things never change, Harry thought. He was happy for his old friend, and hoped that this would go better for him than the previous time since there was no Draco to mess with his class. Second, I am saddened to announce that this year we will have no divination class. The murmurs in the hall started to get loud, and the headmaster had to quiet them. Now, nothing has happened to Professor Trelawney. You can all rest at ease. She is fine and in good health. We had some other issues that I cannot comment on at the moment. But in any case, this year Hogwarts will have one less elective class. No divination? Oh no. I was looking forward to that class. Hermione lamented. You would have hated it, Harry thought. Lastly, I would like to introduce a new addition to our staff. Dumbledore smiled and gave a signal to someone who was waiting outside their view. The person then walked in. What? Lyra stood up all of a sudden. I knew it, Harry muttered. Lyra, that's, Ginny exclaimed. The redhead woman walked next to Dumbledore and waited. I'm pleased to welcome Professor Lily Potter, who kindly consented to fill the position of Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. Good luck, Professor. Mr. Potter, stay for a moment, please. Of course, Professor, Harry replied. Hermione smiled, while Lavender and Parvati chuckled. Once all the students had left, Harry approached the professor's table. What can I do for you, Professor Potter? Lily gave him a pouting face. Call me Mom when we are alone. I'd better get used to calling you Professor, lest my tongue slip, Harry retorted. You are no fun. I wish you had reacted more like Lyra. Do you know how hard it had been to keep it a secret? Lily complained. I can only imagine. Was there something in particular you wanted to discuss? I have an appointment with someone. Lily raised an eyebrow. An appointment? Do you mean a date? It's only the second day. Just how popular are you? It's not a date, Harry grumbled. And who is this appointment with? She asked. That is, private. Harry looked away. Fine, I won't meddle in your personal life too much. But there was something I wanted to ask you. And that is, how did I do? Lily exclaimed. I mean for my first class. Better than the previous Defense Against the Dark Arts professor, Harry told her. Well, that's not a great compliment, Lily replied. You asked for my opinion, not a compliment. It's just the first class. You did a good job, Harry added. Perhaps you can help me a bit with the list of spells I have to teach. Maybe there is something you could think of adding, Lily requested. That's fine, but we could have done this during the summer if you didn't insist on keeping it a secret. That would have ruined the surprise. And how did Holly take it? Harry asked. Well, not great. But it's not like she is staying alone. Mipsy is with her, and I had Dumbledore connect the Flu network to my office, so I can go back home every day. I can also bring Holly for Hogsmeade weekends. I bet she is going to love that, Lily said with excitement. Yes, I think she will, he agreed. The poor girl barely leaves the house. Going out a bit will be good for her. Well then, that's it for now. I won't keep you from your appointment any longer. Lily gave him a wink. Harry wanted to roll his eyes. As soon as he took the last turn, Harry spotted the two girls waiting for him in the corridor. He approached slowly to avoid making any noise. Astoria turned her head once he was a few feet away. Good senses, Harry thought. But she did not alert her sister of his presence. Harry stopped right next to Daphne and placed an invisible hand on her shoulder. Sorry for the delay. Daphne let out a loud shriek as she jumped in the air. Why do you always do that? Harry removed his invisibility charm. You need to pay more attention. Your sister was able to detect me, but you didn't. He would never admit that he enjoyed seeing her reaction. Daphne glanced at her sister. Why didn't you say anything? Astoria shrugged. We should go inside. Daphne's shrieks are bound to attract some attention to this place. Harry unlocked the door to their usual meeting room and went inside. I did not shriek, Daphne complained. Loud, Astoria frowned. He locked the door once the two girls were inside. They got comfortable on one of the couches, and Harry sat in front. I was surprised that you contacted me so soon. Did something happen? Well, something did happen, but this meeting wasn't for me. Daphne tapped her sister's shoulder. Go on. Astoria looked directly at Harry for a couple of seconds before she bowed slightly. Thank you for saving me. Oh, you are welcome, Astoria. Harry nodded politely. He was not expecting this girl to thank him at all. In fact, he was wondering how much she even knew, but could not ask in front of her. "How are you feeling?" "Good," Astoria said. "She talks a lot more now," Daphne smiled. "Yes, I have noticed it," Harry grinned. "She will become more talkative as time passes, but let's just hope it doesn't reach Lavender's level." They conversed for a bit longer and had one of the elves bring some dinner for them. Harry then offered to accompany them to their respective common rooms. After leaving Astoria at the Ravenclaw Tower, Daphne and Harry were left alone. "I felt there was something else you wanted to discuss," he told the blonde girl. "There is, but..." She looked around. They were in the middle of a hallway. It was completely empty as most of the school was currently eating at the Great Hall, but you never knew. Harry took her hand. "Here." He led her through a nearby door and closed it behind them before applying a privacy charm. "Harry, wait!" Daphne exclaimed. "What?" "I put a privacy charm, so no one can hear us here." "That's not the problem," she now shouted. "I know it's small, but that's not the problem either," she shouted again. "Then what is—" "Harry, this is a broom closet," Daphne screamed as her cheeks gained a reddish tint. "I am well aware this is a broom closet, Daphne." The girl was about to say something when he spoke again. "And I also know what these are typically used for, well, other than storing brooms that no one uses, but we are not under any obligation to snog, you know, we can just talk." "I wasn't thinking about that." She totally was. "It's still very inappropriate. My apologies if the room I chose is not to your liking, Princess, but if we waste time going back to the room we were in before, we may run out of time to be outside." "I know, but..." "Ugh! Fine." She grunted and crossed her arms, but did not complain again. "Let me start then," said Harry. "How much does Astoria know about what happened that day?" Daphne's face changed, her usual serious one. "She knows it was you who removed the curse, but she is unaware of the method you used. And she did not question how I knew a way to remove a curse no one else could." "Not at all," Daphne answered as if it was obvious. "There is something I don't understand," she started. "And that is, I thought her black hair was caused by the curse like her muted emotions. But now that it has been removed, I thought it was going to change." "No, that won't change. That's because a small part of the curse remains and will always remain with her. That part cannot be removed, as it is part of her very own being." "What do you mean? Is she going to get sick again?" Daphne said, her voice filled with concern. "I understand your worries, but there is no need. What the demon did was basically eliminate the harmful part of the curse, leaving only behind the part that triggers her physical changes, since that part could not be removed, nor reversed. You can be at ease. Her life is not at risk, and her emotions will improve over time. But if part of the curse is still in her, what about, the future?" "Her children?" Harry asked, and Daphne nodded. "As I said, the remnants of the curse in her are not harmful. The only thing she can pass on to her descendants would be her black hair." "That's such a relief." Daphne sighed. A huge weight has been lifted from her shoulders. "Thank you, Harry. My family will never be able to repay you for everything you have done for us. But if there is anything that you need, I'll let you know." There was something else I wanted to tell you. It's about the Slytherin house. The other students have been acting a bit strange since yesterday, and Pansy has been a lot quieter than usual." "Strange? Do you know what that is?" Harry asked. "No, but I can try to find out," Daphne said. "Be careful, remember, Parkinson." "I am aware, but I have known Pansy since I was 5. I know what to do." At the end of the summer, Harry had decided to inform the Greengrass family about Parkinson's connection to the previous Dark Lord and his current acting as a fake one. He was worried about Daphne being too close to some of the most dangerous wizard families, so he wanted to warn her at least. "I know you can handle yourself, just don't take any unnecessary risks. And let me know if you find anything important." "I will," Daphne said with confidence. "Well, if that is all, we'd better get out of here before some prefect finds us here." "Wouldn't that be embarrassing?" Daphne made a panicked face. "Hurry, open the door." "Mr. Potter." As he was about to leave the area close to the dungeons, a painting of an old wizard riding a hippogriff called for him. "It's not curfew yet," Harry grumbled. "Of course you are not in trouble, Mr. Potter. I merely wanted to relay a message from the headmaster. He wishes to see you in his office." "Right now?" Harry asked with a hint of incredulity. Yes, right now. The password is mint berries. Is this day never going to end? The first day of classes was usually tiresome, but it was getting excessive. Very well. Let's get this over with. Harry pulled his wand and apparated away. In the blink of an eye he was in front of the statue leading to the headmaster's office. Password. The stone bird asked. You have an ugly face. Harry answered. That's incorrect. The voice stopped as the gargoyle moved around, revealing a set of stairs. Harry chuckled. It didn't matter what he told the construct. As long as his intention was to enter the office, this one was bound to make way for him. His level of authority was equal to the headmaster's, and as far as Hogwarts was concerned, this was also his office. I do wonder if that thing has the capability to be offended, he muttered as he went up. The office was very dimly lit as he entered, with just a few candles doing their best. Mr. Potter, you came, Dumbledore called with a tired voice. You know you are making me break your own school rules by coming here at this hour, right? Harry looked around the office for a bit before he sat down. He noticed a large volume of open books on a small table in the corner. You never cared about curfew anyway. The paintings may not be able to tell me where you are, but they can tell me where you are not. Dumbledore said. Fair enough, you seem to have been busy, working on something. Dumbledore glanced at him. I have been looking for answers. Tell me, Harry, what do you know about fate? Fate? He was not expecting to be asked about that topic. You mean like divinators and their prophecies? Dumbledore nodded. I'm not sure if I ever believed in them, Harry told him. Even though you were the subject of a prophecy yourself, Dumbledore asked. He knew at least that much about his past as the boy who lived. I always considered that a self-fulfilling one. It only worked because you and Voldemort believed in it so much. You let those words influence you and manipulate you. That's what I believe, at least. Many think the same way as you do, Harry. Prophecies have always been a controversial topic, but I can assure you that divinators who possess the gift can truly glimpse into the future. I have seen it many times, Dumbledore promised him. Harry shrugged. He also had this conversation many times, but it didn't change his opinion. Why are we even talking about this? What happened? Dumbledore sighed. The old man looked tired enough to collapse at any minute. During the end of the summer I heard from the lips of many diviners. They have all become unable to glimpse into the future any longer. It's like they all lost their gift at the same time. All of them? And it's not just that. The other day I received a call from the minister. Something had happened at the Hall of Prophecies. Harry flinched at hearing the name. That place brought back many unpleasant memories for him. This was one of his worst failures, when he let himself be lured into a trap that cost Sirius his life. What happened to the prophecies? Harry asked. The crystal orbs have all gone clear, meaning that all the prophecies contained in them had just vanished. Professor Trelawney said there was no more fate. Dumbledore appeared to have a hard time saying that. No more prophecies. He never cared for them, but other people did. Wait, so the boy who lived prophecy? Dumbledore shook his head. It doesn't matter anymore. Neville is no longer tied by those words. Does the public know about this? Harry asked. No. Someone leaked bits of information to the prophet, but they didn't have any specifics. We told the public a story about a small accident occurring in the Department of Mysteries, but that everything was under control. They know nothing about the prophecies being gone. Then we can expect that Voldemort will continue to aim for Neville. Harry noticed the expression on Dumbledore's face change. Even if the truth is released, that won't change his mind. Voldemort will still want Neville dead. He won't take any risks, no matter how small those risks are. He is an extremely cautious man. You are right, of course. He is that type of person. Is this what got you so obsessed? Harry pointed at the pile of open books in the back. Yes, I'll admit it. I have been trying to find some answers to why this is happening, but no luck so far. It's like this is the first time something like this has happened in thousands of years of magical history. It's possible. I mean, there always has to be a first time for everything, Harry told him. I suppose, but people expect me to have all the answers and I don't have them this time, Dumbledore lamented. There is a chance this is also related to that other matter, Harry suggested.
The one at the chamber?
If that is the case, we may have some answers soon. Oh? Did you find anything? Not me, but my mentor promised to put me in contact with one of the greatest experts in time-related magic. I will make an appointment for that expert to visit Hogwarts as soon as is possible. Harry nodded. Let me know when that happens. I want to be present. Of course, I will. The headmaster glanced at the mechanical clock on the wall. My apologies, it seems like I made you miss your curfew. I will write you a note in case the professors complain. Before I leave, there was something I wanted to request from you. Professor? A request? What is it? Dumbledore asked with curiosity. Can I borrow your old wand? You know the one I mean, the one you got from Grindelwald. Dumbledore's eyes opened widely for a single moment before they went back to normal. I shouldn't be surprised you know about that. No, you shouldn't, Harry agreed. That wand won't be of any use to you, I'm afraid. I already presumed it wasn't working, otherwise you would have been using it last year, Harry said. You know that too. Dumbledore made a pause and then he appeared to remember something. The cloak, he just recalled that the Potters had the cloak of invisibility in their possession. Yes, my father gave it to me, and as you were suspecting just now, it also stopped working last year. The Hallows lost their power. I had assumed the wand had merely stopped answering to me for some reason. Why didn't you mention this earlier? Dumbledore questioned. A lot of things happened last year, Harry said in his defense. And besides, there was someone who I wanted to speak with first, someone who had spent a large portion of his life researching the Hallows and knew more about them than you or I. And what did this expert tell you? Not much for now, but he assured me that the power from the Hallows cannot just disappear, so if it's not contained in these objects anymore, then it must have gone somewhere else. What about the stone? Dumbledore raised his tone. That was the Hallow he had the most interest in but could never get his hands on. Do you know where it is? I know where it was in my time. Where? Tell me. I must find it. Dumbledore was almost shouting. Calm down, Professor. Use your head if the wand and the cloak are powerless now. Dumbledore regained his wits. My apologies for that poor display, Harry. It's fine, I tell you what. I was planning on visiting that place sooner or later. Why don't I take you there? Harry suggested. Right now? This weekend. Right now you need some rest. You won't be of much use as you are right now, Harry offered.